Truck loading and unloading cannot be automated at the moment. I am convinced that every manual operator can outperform an AGV. And today, Matthias has one full episode to convince me that there are actual use cases which can be automated.
Automation Awakenings, your weekly dose of best practices for logistics automation.
Welcome to the next episode of our Automation Awakenings podcast. And today with me in the studio, as always, usually, Matthias.
Hey, Olli.
Welcome to our show.
Yeah, happy to be in the studio with you again on a very interesting topic, and I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Yes, exactly. As you know, we were discussing several times the use case of truck loading and unloading, and the ones who already listened to these episodes know very well that I am 100% convinced that at the moment, yes, sure, there are some ideas how to automate this use case, but for sure they are not as good as a manual operator. That's why we thought to have this conversation in a little bit different mode today. I'm convinced, and Matthias has now a full episode to tell me that there are actually solutions available which can be used already now. And I'm very curious what Matthias found out and if I can change my opinion on that topic.
Yeah,
So Matthias,
looking forward and very curious on whether I'm going to manage to convince you. And I can already start with the first statement. Forget about AGVs and AMRs.
whoa, okay.
Yeah, forget it for the moment. I know we've been discussing this technology a lot, also in the context of truck loading and unloading, but I believe it's not the most mature technology. Plus, it's just a fraction of a certain family of solutions that are out there and that are quite mature, actually. So let's start into this episode and let's dig a little bit deeper and see whether we can help you guys to shed some light into the question on how to automate your truck loading and unloading operations.
So Matthias, I haven't seen that coming, that you have some solutions which are not AGVs
Yep.
in mind. But just to finish that quickly. So you can confirm that at the moment there's no good, let's forklift AGV, which is driving into the truck and is unloading pallet by pallet.
I don't want to, like in general, reject that. Of course, we have been out in the field consulting a lot of customers also on this very question. And you can also agree that we didn't find any solution that made sense to us, that paid off, and it provided a availability that was acceptable for the customer. But maybe let's wind back a little bit. Let's dive up from the AGV AMR section, and let's take a general view over the topic of automated truck loading and unloading. And if you do this, you're going to find basically two big families of solutions that are out there. First of all, we have something that is called ATLS. It's an acronym for automated or automatic truck loading and unloading. And ATLS has, again, certain subfamilies to it. The first, and I would say most popular subfamily, is the one of ATLS with unmodified trailers. Then we have ATLS with modified trailers. And then we have AGVs AMRs, which are seen as one subfamily of the ATLS field, so to say. So that's the one big family. And the second big family is basically autonomous picking solutions that are out there. They somewhat might resemble a mobile robot because basically they are a driving skateboard with some kind of arm or picking device on top. So you would call this a mobile manipulator in your Ollie words. So yes, they are also somewhat related to it, but it's not classic forklift AGVs that you would use to pick, obviously.
Okay. That's, some new categories for me, partly at least.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear something about trailers and you have to adapt them or change things, this already sounds for me complex and costly. Can we already exclude this solution, or is there something behind which is interesting?
Yeah. So let's talk maybe first about the ATLS family. Let's talk first about the ATLS with unmodified trailers. So that's a solution that obviously requires a lot of retrofitting in your facility. So basically, just to describe the solution, you would have somewhat of they call it a slide, where you basically locate your pellets on, which is standing in front of the dock. So it's a really also highly sophisticated hydraulic system, which is basically like a conveyor belt, like one big conveyor belt. Let's call it that way.
Magic carpet.
Yeah, magic carpet. And sorry, it's called skate. Skate.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's called skate. And this skate is basically then, once you have the open trailer standing in front of a dock, it is basically, just maneuvered inside of the trailer, like this skate, basically, like a board that is driving into the trailer. In the end of the trailer, of course, it's stopping. And then basically the conveyor belt is running like reversely and is like pulling the skate out, and the pellets are then being they are being unskated, unslided,
Yes.
unslided from this device. I think it's probably best if you guys just type this in at YouTube. So just go for ATLS trailer unloading, and you're gonna see it. It's a very heavy device. It's quite sophisticated, as I said, with a lot of sensors to find the right height to go into the trailer, to find the end of the trailer, where to basically start unloading the pellets that are located on top of it, and to then again pull itself out, while of course leaving the pellets inside of the trailer. So quite heavy solution.
Oh yeah.
The good thing about it is that you can basically use it with all kind of trailers. So what I mean is, you could handle any truck with this particular trailer type, no matter if it's an internal truck, if it's a truck coming from your LSP, if it's a truck coming from your supplier, whatever. So it's quite
At least
adaptable in that sense.
Yeah, but Matthias, sorry to say, but while you were talking, I loaded 33 pallets in my mind with the manual forklift.
Yeah. And that's actually also a clear argument of many colleagues in the industry, because they say, I either way have to grab the pallet to put it on top of this skate. So if I have it on the fork, I can just simply drive into the truck and unload it in the truck.
Yeah.
So this is totally valid. And also another disadvantage is that you're basically, of course, building something in front of your dog that you just can't push to the side if you don't need it. So you're also kind of changing the way you run your in front dog operations, so to say, which is, of course, a thing you should consider.
Yeah, at the end you have a huge piece of metal
Yeah,
on the floor, lying there or fixed in your outbound area,
yeah,
which cannot be used for anything else.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But let's talk about the advantages a bit later, because I believe for some cases it makes a lot of sense. But I agree, it's still not like a, like a copy and paste and a thing you can straight away roll out everywhere and in every situation. Because in many cases, actually, warehouse, like dock operations or plant dock operations, they have this let's say wanted chaos,
Yeah,
right? The chaos, of course, it's not easy to handle sometimes, but it also gives you a lot of opportunities because you can flexibly react to certain situations. With such a device, of course, you are quite bound to a very specific type of loading and unloading operation. Okay, but for the time being, let's leave
Yeah,
this
fine with that.
as one solution in this family. The modified trailer solution is then basically featuring trailers that already are modified in a way to pull in certain pallets. So that's even more specific, I would say. And then we have the AGVs and AMRs that you know very well, where I would say the biggest obstacle is that that there is a lot of exceptions. There is a lot of like external factors that might interfere with the loading or unloading, and it's too slow. Simply, it's too slow. Yeah. So this is the family of the ATLS technologies, and now we are moving into the second family, the autonomous picking devices or pick devices.
These are my mobile manipulators.
These are the mobile manipulators, and this family, I would say, is even less mature. So, first of all, they're mainly, of course, used for picking cartons out of sea containers that are stuffed with boxes with cartons to the roof. Very typical way on how stuff is shipped from Asia over to other regions. And this is exactly where these devices make most sense, because it's a very dull, very dangerous, and also very dirty job to be done by humans. Just imagine you stand in this container and you unload those cartons by hand, which means when it's cold outside, it's going to be freaking cold in the container. If it's hot, it's going to be freaking hot in the container. So there is a lot of side effects going with this process that make it really unpopular, plus also very prone to damages and to injuries, actually, right?
If I now imagine such a container,
coming
with a full load of packages from Temu, Shein, whatever, all these Chinese shops.
I think it's called Shein. I just learned.
Shein?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know.
I never ordered there, but it's rather, there are like clothes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of women's stuff. I don't even know if they have like guys clothes there.
It's even not fast fashion. It's like
next
fast forward fashion.
Yeah.
As soon as you unpack, it's already outdated or so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
And these containers, they are like super packed. It's not like that's why I'm so curious to understand.
Yeah.
Usually, if I see these videos of these packing or picking robots, the cartons look very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are stacked in a nice way. All cartons are the same. And then this robot goes there, picks carton by carton.
Yeah.
If I open this Temo container, it looks differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even like really stuff the containers up to the roof, and
Yeah.
it's even difficult to start unpacking.
Yeah.
Right. So how could the robot handle that?
Yeah. There is even a term for it. It's the stuffed container problem.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, totally. So it's a well observed problem, and the providers that are in this picking device industry, they also openly address that and tell you it's not going to be human free. Okay, you will still need this guy to help the robot with the first pick on top and the two first picks on the sides. These are the toughest ones.
Uh-huh.
After that, for the robot, it's going
Yeah.
to be way easier to grab the cartons, because it won't have this stuffed tension problem anymore. So certainly that's something you have to keep in mind. That for these edge cases, they even recommend to have a human. Plus, you also need to very carefully check and analyze in which conditions those cartons arrive.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about the container, this container has been out on a vessel for a bunch of days or weeks. And in most of the cases, humidity would somehow find a way inside the container. So the cartons wouldn't be in great shape anymore. They might be a bit humid. Some might even collapse. And of course, this is a situation where autonomous picking device won't be able to serve you anymore. So again, here I think it's a solution for very, very specified operations that I'm going to talk about in a second, because it actually also applies to the ATLS family.
Okay, that means we would need a new job description for an operator there.
Yeah.
A guy who is releasing the tension of a container
Yeah,
and checking the carton quality.
yeah, yeah, and is manually helping with cartons that don't work, that are not fit to be picked. Sorry.
Yeah, and somebody who is handling exceptions, let's say,
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Like an exception handler, so to say. But I still think this sounds like a better deal than having two guys working in the container with really trouble to find these people to be willing to do this job, because
Sure.
this is really tough. It's really bad. So imagine you are unloading containers all day long, no matter if it's winter or if it's summer. I mean, this sounds to me like a real logistics nightmare, actually.
You'd be really happy to have such a helping hand.
Yeah.
Even if it's only 50-60% of the cartons which can be unloaded.
That would already help.
That's already a lot.
That would already help. There's one more aspect here that needs to be taken into consideration, and that's also the way the cartons are put into the container. Because this picking device, so I described it's sitting like on a skateboard, like a mobile robot skateboard, with this manipulator arm on top of it, pulling some kind of like conveyor behind it, where it then locates the picked cartons, and the device that is used to basically pick the cartons is in many cases something similar to like a suction cup.
Yes.
It's like many small suction cups on top of this device, and it now makes a difference if the carton is standing or is put in the container with the short side or with the long side to be picked. Because if it's picked by the short side, it means the center of gravity for this carton is going to be way, it's going to be in a way different position than when you pick it from the long side. So when you pick from the short side, it might easily happen that the carton drops again because the mere suction device is not having enough power to handle this different center of gravity, and also this might be an issue if your carton is either way a little bit wet. It might start tearing if you try to
You destroy
suck
the
cup it.
carton and
Yeah.
the content falls out
Yeah.
into the container. All the Shein shirts are on the floor then.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It sounds like a real mess.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it happens already now.
Yeah, for sure.
From time to time, and then they like repack it. They must have some repacking guys there, and
Yeah.
but with the robot, the mess will will increase.
Yeah, for sure. It's tricky. It's tricky. And that's why maybe let's come to those use cases that I think might work with these technologies. And that's basically use cases where you can guarantee standardization of your transporting equipment first, but also of the quality of packaging that you have inside. So this must be given because otherwise, I mean, we know it, automation hates exceptions. It's actually not possible to automate this in many cases. And that's also very true for these kind of solutions. So, so if you have processes that are highly standardized, where you have the control over the quality, this might be something you would like to take a look into. Where do we have these kind of processes, Ollie?
Well, in a highly standardized shuttle traffic between your preferred supplier and your factory, for example.
Yeah. So shuttles or milk runs that are, they're just running between two facilities. That have highly standardized goods on top of it or inside of them. Let's take, for example, pallets with baby diapers, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So you have this production facility, let's say maybe someone like Procter & Gamble with Pampers, and they're producing these diapers. They are standing on the same pallets, and they are always going, once per hour to a big distribution warehouse. That's not something. That's not something you have to do manually by forklift, because it's always the same. It's having pretty much the same weight. It's packed the same way. That would be something I would really consider as a potential use case to use ATLS in that case. So really having those skates where you just load pallets on top, truck arrives, skate is just going into the truck, is unloading the pallets, and is leaving. So one thing also to mention is you need full trucks, right?
Right.
I mean, if you have just LTL, then you're gonna end up in problems there. So you need a full truck, you need standardized goods, standardized load carriers, and standardized transportation equipment you're using. And it makes also a difference if you were trying to retrofit such a automatic loading or unloading solution into a brownfield environment, or whether you are planning greenfield. So for brownfield, actually, AGVs and AMRs make sense because you don't have to do a lot of changes to the periphery. You don't have to totally rebuild your dock area, which is the case for, let's say, ATLS with unmodified trailers. You need to really build this heavy device in with all the pros and cons, with all the costs. And this tends to be something that you would use for greenfield in the first place.
Okay, understood.
And by the way, same also, of course, goes for the autonomous picking solutions. Again, here, if you have short transports of cartons between to facilities where you can standardize, where you know the type, the quality of carton, where humidity is not a big issue, then this might be something you would like to consider to improve your loading or unloading operations.
Yeah, I think this is already kind of a summary of our episode today. Or would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think the summary is to be done by you, Ollie, because you asked me to convince you or to provide you insights into use cases where it makes sense to do automatic loading or unloading. And my big question is, of course, did I convince you?
You convinced me partly. I'm still convinced that in our real world outside, without any adaptations, we have no chance to automate this use case, truck unloading and loading. But I learned that if we have the right parameters set or we adjust them, like sanitization, shuttle, traffic, we can be brave and have a look on such a use case with current technology and check if this might be already be a business case.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a lot of shuttle traffic, for
Sure.
example, in your facility, and you can use one technology to automate it, this might turn into a business case. And I really hope for our colleagues unloading these Shein containers that soon there will be cheaper solutions available on the market,
Yeah.
so they can do something nicer
Totally.
day by day. And yeah, I'm also interested now what our audience thinks. Are you convinced to start such a use case, or do you have examples where it's actually already working? So we are happy and we are looking forward to your comments and feedback, of course. And for today, I can only thank Matthias for this interesting deep dive
Sure.
and for taking the challenge, for this very complex use case. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see you next week already. And until then, have a nice week and see you soon.
Take care. Goodbye.
This was another episode of the Automation Awakenings podcast. Visit us at automation-awakenings.com.